Hi everyone, my name is Mary and welcome back to Quinn Inc. Today in this video, as you can see, we are going to start what I should have done before I did the scarf border. It is going to be called the wave border. Yep, this is exactly what it looks like. You should have seen the thumbnail. So it's really beautiful and gorgeous. Now, in my last video, we were going to do, yes, I'm pulling this out real quick. We were going to do a scarf border. Okay, this was the scarf, and you were to connect these triangles. As you can see, one side was supposed to be blue, and the other side was supposed to be purple. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to put this one off to the side. This will be now an accessory to the granny triangle cardigan. So if you want to use this with the cardigan, you can totally do that in another video. I will show you how to crochet around this and make a border and make it thicker, so that way we can finish this one off. So I will show that in a completely different video. But as for this video, we are going to be doing the wave border. So let's grab our hooks. Let's grab the rest of our yarn that we have, which is going to be the Baja Blue and the Lilac Purple. And let's get started with this video. Also, don't forget, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and also comment so I know you're enjoying this video. And without further ado, let's get the wave border started. Okay, so to start the wave stitch, we're going to make a slip stitch. And as you know, for wave stitches, they are going to go in peaks and valleys. So up and down, up and down. Okay, so I have the stitch marker right here on my cardigan. And this is the stitch that we're going to start in. If you're wondering where we're starting, we are starting at the bottom, right down here on the front. Okay, so put your hook into that stitch. Put your slip knot onto your hook. Pull through. Move your yarn tail out of the way, yarn over and pull through, pull tight, and then you're going to chain one and you're going to make a double crochet back into that same stitch. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a peak. But first we're going to do 3 double crochets into the next 3 stitches. So that's 1. To make a double crochet, you are going to yarn over, go into that stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, grab your working yarn and pull through 2, grab your working yarn and pull through 2. So that's 2 stitches. We just have to make 1 more double crochet. And finally, into the 4th stitch, this is where we're going to make our peak. And in a peak, you just make 3 double crochets all into that same stitch. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and so that's what this stitch is going to look like, and this will turn into a peak, and you'll see it as you grow your rows. Now we're going to do 3 double crochets into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a valley, and that's where you do 3 double crochet stitches as a decrease. And to do that, you're going to yarn over, go into that stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. You're going to yarn over and pull through only 2 of those stitches. So you still have 2 on your hook. You're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. Then you're going to grab your working yarn and pull through 2 more. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to do that 1 more time into the 3rd stitch. You're going to do this over 3 stitches. Yarn over, go into that stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop, grab your working yarn and pull through 2, 4 loops on your hook. Make sure you have enough room. Yarn over and pull through all 4 stitches. And that is how you do a 3 double crochet decrease. And that will make your valley. Okay, so let's keep going. So into the next 3 stitches, no chaining here, because I know sometimes you'll do a decrease and chain 1. We do not need to chain 1. We're going to put 3 double crochets into the next 3 stitches. And then we're going to make our peak again. And this is what's going to make our beautiful wave border. So there is our 3 double crochets. Into the 4th stitch, you're going to put 3 double crochets all into that same stitch to make our peak. Okay, so there we go. So we made a peak, a valley, and a peak. Now we'll do that valley, and then I will meet you down at the end. So 3 double crochets into the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, that is a stitch. Not sure why that's sticking out, might have to cut it off. And this will be 3. So 3 stitches in between each valley and each peak. Now if you would like, you can also do 4, you can do 5. So if you want less valleys and less peaks, you can do it that way. You want more valleys, you can do 2 stitches in between. Okay, so now we're going to do a peak, a valley. So you're going to yarn over, go into that stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. Now we're doing a 3 double crochet decrease across 3 stitches. Yarn over and pull through only 2 stitches. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. Grab your working yarn and pull through 2. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and go into the 3rd stitch and final stitch. Grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. Grab your working yarn and pull through 2. You will have 4 stitches on your hook. Make sure they are pretty loose, as you can see right here. Yarn over and pull through all 4 to do that peak. Okay, and then you will do 3 double crochets into the next 3 stitches. Okay, and then you will do your peak in the 4th stitch. That's 3 double crochets into the same stitch. Now I am going to meet you down here at the end where I have my stitch marker. Let me find it really quickly. There it is. So there is my stitch marker, and I will meet you down here. And where this stitch marker is it's going to be on, if I can move my camera. There we go. So it will be on the sleeve, as you can see right here. So this is the top of the sleeve, and when you fold this over like this, this is where the stitch marker is at. So it will stop right where this fold is, so that way we can have a nice border. And what we are pretty much doing is making the border pretty wide, so that way when the border is wide, we can, connect it to the back portion right here and start closing off this neck portion, because this neck portion back here on our shoulders is pretty long and we need to close that off. So that way we only have the length that we need for our neck, and I will show you this as we get closer to those rows. Okay, so I will meet you down here at this stitch marker and I will show you how to do row number 2. Alright, so we are down at the end here, and as you can see I made it to the stitch marker. Now when you are doing the stitch, you are going to want your last, closer to your last stitch, you want this into a peak. You do not want it into a valley. And the reason why is because if you have a valley here, As you turn your rows for your valley, they will become less and less and less. And then as you have, so example would be, if I ended this on a valley, then I would have one less stitch. So the next row would be 2 stitches, but then it would actually be 1 stitch, then the decrease. And then when I came back around, it would be a decrease immediately. And then I would just have to crochet until I got to a peak. So make sure that you end off on a peak and not a valley. And it's okay if you have 4 stitches left over or 5 stitches, that's okay. I'm going to have, excuse me, I'm actually going to have 5 stitches left over from ending off on a peak, as you can see. So I did my peak, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're just going to yarn over and pull through, because I am going to change colors. We are going to change colors to the purple. That's right. So this purple right here will be our second row. And so let's go ahead and grab our purple, and let's get a slip knot on it, and let's get started. Now, 2 things you can do. You can either have a slip knot and pull through just like we did in the beginning, or if you would like, you can actually put your hook through like this, put your yarn onto your hook and pull through that stitch, and then tie a knot. That is something that you can do if it's much easier for you. And then all we'll do is put our hook in there, our hook into the stitch, excuse me, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and have that chain 1. Then we will turn our work. So give me 1 second. Let me turn our work. There we go. This one's a little more difficult since we have a big cardigan that we are turning. Alright, so now for row number 2. I am going to crochet these yarn tails in, and there we go. It'll be much easier than having to sew them in for later. So we're going to put a double crochet right into this first double crochet right here. Okay, and since I did 5 double crochets, I am now going to have to double crochet 6, and I will show you why. So let's double crochet into 6 stitches. So this one counts, so that's 1, 2, 3, there we go. Move that up a little bit. 3, 4. This one is number 5 right here, okay? So as you can see, this is our peak, and those are the 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we have to double crochet into the 6th stitch right here, so that way we can double crochet 3 times into the middle stitch of that 3 double crochet cluster. So there's stitch number 6, and in stitch number 7 you will double crochet 3 times into that same stitch. 1, 2, and 3, and that will be your peak that we were trying to get to. So there is your peak on top of a peak. And yes, you will do peaks on top of peaks, and you will do valleys on top of valleys. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So now instead of 3 stitches that you will be double crocheting into, it will be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I was right. It's 3 stitches, because you have to make sure that you have 1 stitch before the 3 double crochet decreases. So that's 2, and this is number 3. Okay, now always make sure when you do your double crochet decrease, you'll have your 3 decreases in the middle. You need a stitch on the side and the stitch on the other side, because this turned into 1 stitch right here instead of 3 stitches. And just like before, we will do the 3 double crochet decrease into the next 3 stitches. So yarn over, go into your stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop, grab your working yarn and only pull through 2, yarn over, go into that next stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop, grab your working yarn and pull through 2. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over for the last time for the decrease, go into the 3rd and final stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop, grab your working yarn and pull through 2. Always make sure you have enough room, because you're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 stitches to finish off that decrease. Okay, and so that is what it will look like. So as you can see, we have our peaks, and it is starting to go up, and this is starting to go down. And then we're going to do 3 double crochets, 1 into the next 3 stitches, 2, because we're coming up onto a peak now, and this one will be 3. And the reason why that is the 3rd one, because that is the leg of the 3 double crochet cluster from the previous round, where we put 3 double crochets into the same stitch. So then the 4th stitch will now be 3 double crochets into that same stitch. 1, 2, and 3. And one more thing that I should mention is, if you can't remember when you're coming up onto the next stitch what needs to be done, such as if it's a valley or a peak, you can always go back and look what you did before. So if before we did a valley, as you can see, then the next one will be a peak. So if we're double crocheting, we get here and we're like, I'm not sure what to do, just look back and see what you did before, which was a peak. So this one would be a valley. So you would double crochet into 3 double crochets, do your 3 double crochet decrease across the 3 stitches right here. So that would go into a stitch, the decrease from the previous round, and then the next stitch over. Okay, so I will meet you down at the other end, and we will go from there. Okay, so I made it down here at the end. Just kidding. I made it close to the end. I have one more stitch before I do my 3 double crochets for my peak. So here we go. So I just need to do 3 double crochets. This will be the end of row number 2, and then we'll be doing row number 3. So there's number 3, and then I just have to do the last double crochets to the end. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to change back to the blue. So when we're doing this wave border, we are going to be changing colors each row. So first row was blue, next row is purple. So the next one I'm going to do blue and purple and blue and purple and blue and purple. I'm going to do one more row, and it's going to be in blue. And then we are going to come back, and I am moving the cardigan to show you the back of the neck. So this is the back of the neck right here, okay? And as you can see, I have stitch markers here. This one is for when we connected right here. So ignore that one. Excuse me, this stitch marker right here is very important. So what I ended up doing was measuring the back of my neck on my shoulders, and then I went and grabbed a coat that I really enjoy, and I ended up putting the stitch markers right here in between where I like the back of my neck to be. So this is going to be We'll start from right here where we had connected. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I put it on the 5th stitch. Okay, and then in between I did, we'll count this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, skip over this big piece, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and this would be 17. So it would be 17 stitches for mine, because I measured my back of my neck and grabbed a jacket to see where the opening is on my jacket. And so from here it will be 1, 2, 3, and this is the 4th stitch. Okay, so it'll be 4 stitches from here, and from here pretty much means this is where we had connected it meaning the cardigan. So we connected the back. Let me take a look real quick. So this would be the back portions right here, and these were the front and back portions. Okay, so this is the end portion right here. Give me a moment. There we go. Okay, so pretty much these are the back portions. So remember we had 2 of them. So here's 1 and here's 2, and we connected them to make the cardigan. Then we had longer sections where we had front and back sections. So from where we had connected it right here, that's where you will count these stitches. Now this one is not a stitch, so do not count that. Count the one that's an actual stitch. This one is where we had connected it together to the cardigan. So we connected the pieces together. So the next stitch over that looks like an actual stitch, count 1, 2, 3, and 4, and put a stitch marker there. If you need it to be wider, then you can have it wider. Same thing with here. This little bump was perfect, so that way, here I'll show you. So there's a little bump right here. So that told me that was a stitch, and then I would just count from there 4 stitches and a stitch marker. So what I'm going to do is so on this side, this one has 3 rows already done, and I just need to do 1 more row, so I will do a purple row, and then I will come back and we will connect this to this border. Now this is going to actually be a portion of the side, since we have to connect it to the cardigan and close it off to make our neck portion right here a little bit smaller instead of wider, because I realized this back piece right here was too wide and we needed to make it smaller. Okay, so I will be back. I'm going to finish this section right here, and then we will connect it. So that will actually be 4 rows is how many rows you will need to do. You might need to do more for yours to connect it to the stitch marker that you need to get to. So this may actually be more than 4 stitches where I did mine. Yours might be maybe this long, and you might need to do it all the way up to here, so it could be 5 rows. But mine is going to be 4 rows. Then we will come back, connect it, and we will finish off the border. Alright, we are back, and Sonia is laying on the cardigan, as you can see right here. She decided to make this a little bed for her, so we're going to leave her, and we are going to get straight into the video. So, I did the last row that I said I was going to do, and then we are going to connect it to the back. Okay, so let's get started with that. I'm going to move my camera down. Okay, so grab your blue yarn right here, and where I put my stitch marker, so I I stitch marked it to the last row right here, so I knew where I was going to be. So we're just going to move that out of the way. You're going to put your hook right into that stitch, and then you're going to look for this last stitch right here. Here, I'll try and zoom in. So this last stitch on the end of that row right there is where you're going to put your hook into. Okay, And then you're going to put your yarn onto your hook, and you're going to just pull right through that stitch. And then we are going to tie the yarn onto that stitch, and we're going to do single crochet stitches. And now that we have that in there, you can just take your stitch marker out. Don't forget to close your stitch marker so you don't cut yourself, excuse me, or poke yourself. So we're going to put our hook back into that stitch, yarn over and pull through, and then chain 1. We're going to go back into that stitch right there for a single crochet, so we know we can close that off. Now, when single crocheting down, since these are not, I can't find any stitches here, but these are stitches, I would just go into here and then go right into this opening right there, and we'll do a single crochet. Okay. And then you'll go into this stitch and right into that one. So wherever your crochet hook can go into as a stitch, pulling down the yarn tail, we'll go into this stitch, and then we'll go into this one. We're just going to single crochet down the line, connecting the side piece right here to our back piece, so that way we can have some shoulders right here. So this is also a portion of your shoulder. This is the sleeve. This also connects to your shoulder as well, but we're trying to close off that gap. Okay, so we're going to put our, now when we get here, this is not a stitch either. It is a stitch. It was a stitch from the granny stripe that we had done when we were connecting our side piece, our back pieces to our back pieces. So we'll just go into this double crochet right here, and go right into this one right here. Grab your yarn and pull through, and then we'll do 2 of them right into that stitch. I know it's not a stitch, but it is a stitch. So we put 2 double crochets right into there. And then right where this, excuse me, right where this stitch marker is, I'm going to do a slip stitch. So I'm going to go into this one right here, and then I'm going to try and go right into this one right there. Okay. And then this is where you yarn through and pull through, and that will be your slip stitch. And then you will just grab your scissors just like this, and you'll cut, trying not to cut Sonia because she's near the scissors. Yarn over and pull through and tighten off, and there we go. And that is how you will close, that is how you will close off your side wave border to this side wave border. Now I have already done the other side, so let me just move on over since she's on the cardigan, and there we are. See, I already connected this border as well, and there is the 4 rows. Now since I landed on a purple row, we are going to grab our hooks, and we are also going to grab our blue yarn, and we are going to connect down here at the bottom of the wave border, and we are going to start that wave border all over again. Okay, and then once we get up to this point, we're also going to do the wave border along the side of the neck as well. Go around like this, and then down the border to the other side. Then we will change back to purple, and then I will figure out how many rows we need to do. I think about 3 more rows for this one, making a total of 7 rows, I believe. So this will be 7 rows, and then I will try the cardigan on, see if I need to do more rows. Now the other thing we can do too is on this neck portion right here, we can just do double crochets. And then once you get to this portion right here, you can start your wave border. If that is another choice you can do. So if you don't want to do the wave border all the way around your neck, you can also do double crochets. But I'm going to do the wave border all around the neck. So let me go grab my blue yarn. Let's get this connected and let's get started. Okay, we are back. So now that you have your blue yarn, put your hook into the very last stitch. If you're wondering where we are on the right side at the very bottom. That's where I'm going to start. You can start on the left side if you'd like. I just chose to start over here. Okay, so we're going to put our hook through our stitch, put our yarn over our hook and pull through, and then we're going to tie it because we're doing the tie-on method. If you have a specific method that you are doing, go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we're going to start our wave border. So grab your working yarn and pull through, and then grab your working yarn and make a chain. And then we're going to put a double crochet back into that first stitch. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my wave right side, and then I will meet you down once I get to the neck portion, and then I will show you how to do excuse me, how I will do the waves portion on the neck. Okay. So remember, if you're doing your wave, once you get to your peak section, right there in the middle of your peak, so that would be the middle double crochet, you will put 3 double crochets there. Then as you work down, make sure you always have a stitch in between the 3 double crochet decreases that we have done. So that way you can do 3 double decreases over the next 3 stitches. Okay, so I will be back shortly. I will meet you down. I will meet you down at the neck portion. Alrighty, so we are coming up on the end, and we are coming up to our back section. I just have a few more stitches I just need to crochet into. So let me get these finished real quick. Alright, here we go. Couple more stitches and we are at the neck section. Okay, so here we are at the neck section. Oh, I have one more stitch. Okay, so when we get to this neck section and we're doing our wave border, because we had so many double crochets right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work in 3s. So I'm going to double crochet into 3 stitches, and then into the 4th stitch, that's where I'm going to put the peak. So double crochet into the next 3 stitches, so 1, 2, and 3. Okay, just like that. Just like as if we were starting the stitch all over again. And then into the 4th stitch right here, we're going to do our peak. And remember, your peak is 3 double crochets all into that same stitch. 2 and 3. And then what we're going to do is we're going to double crochet into the next 3 stitches, and into the 4th stitch, that's when we're going to do our 3 double crochet decreases. It's actually called DC2 tog is what it's called. So it's double crochet 2 together. Excuse me, it's supposed to be 3 together because we're doing 3 of them together. So it would be called double crochet 3 together. So now we have a stitch here, we have a stitch here. I'm going to go into this stitch right here. So 1, 2, and 3, because that looks like a stitch, and it is. So to do the double crochet 3 together, you're going to yarn over, go into your stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop, grab your working yarn, and only pull through 2. Into the next stitch, you're going to yarn over, go into the stitch, grab your working yarn, and pull up a loop. grab your working yarn and pull through 2. You will have 3 loops on your hook. Make sure to keep them fairly loose, so when we need to yarn over and pull through all 4 of those stitches, we have some looseness so we can get our hook and yarn through. Now we're going to yarn over. That looks like a space, so I'm going to go right into that spacing right here. As you can see, there's a space right here. I'm not sure what this is. Let's take a look. We could actually go into that. Yeah, let's go into this one right here. So we're going to yarn over, go into that spacing, grab our working yarn and pull up a loop, grab our working yarn and pull through 2. Now you have the 4 loops on your hook. Grab your working yarn and pull through all 4 loops to do that double crochet 3 together. Okay, and now we're going to double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So this looks like a stitch. So 1. This is a double crochet from the granny stripe down here. It looks like 2 chains that we had done. So what we're going to do for this one is we're going to yarn over and double crochet twice into that chain. And here comes my Sonia again. Come on, sweetie, get off my yarn. Lay down. She has been trying to get on this cardigan ever since I've been wanting to record. We are in the 2nd day. Took me 2 days to do this. You want to see where she is? There she is. She is wanting petties again. And no, it's not time to feed her because it's about 8 o'clock in the morning. I think she just wants me to not record. So here, we're going to just move her over for just a moment. Can you scoot over, sweetie? Sorry about that. Okay, so she's going to sit on the side right here, just like this. She's going to sit right there. And we'll finish getting this wave stitch. So it looks like we are almost there. I apologize. She is not letting me record today, and I don't know why. See, she's laying on my arm, and then on the other side over here is where we're trying to crochet. Apologize for this. So we're going to take a quick break, and hopefully when I come back she will be satisfied with all the pettings I have given her. Okay, be back shortly. Alright, we are back from the break. I gave Sonia tons of pettings, and she is actually laying right there in the corner on the cardigan. There she is, and she's so beautiful. My little baby girl. It's cold today, and so she is wanting some warmth. So we're just going to leave her there, and we're going to finish because we are almost done, as you can see, and then we will be... Oh, hold on. There we go. We are almost done, and then we will be turning the corner to get to here. Okay, so where were we at? We had just made oh boy, there it is. We made the 3 the double crochet 3 together right here. There we go. That's where we're at. Okay, and so then we were making, let's make sure, yeah, there we go. And then we made 3 double crochets. So then in the next stitch right here, we're going to put 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3, and this will be our peak. Okay, so that'll be our peak before we make it to the end. Okay, so let's take a look. So 1, 2, 3, and then the decrease. 1, 3, and then, yeah, so I think that should work out pretty nicely. So let's do 3 double crochets. 1, And let me move my watch real quick, so quit tapping. 2 and 3. And then we're going to do a decrease right here. Okay, so we're going to do the double crochet 3 together. So yarn over, go into your stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop, grab your working yarn and pull through 2. Yarn over, go back into that stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop, grab your working yarn and pull through 2. Make sure to pull up on those stitches so you have room for when you pull through all 4. Last yarn over, go into the stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop, grab your working yarn and pull through 2. Grab your working yarn and pull through all 4 stitches for that decrease. Then we're going to double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So 1, move the stitch marker out of the way so it does not become a problem. Okay, double crochet into the next stitch. Now that we are on the corner, you will double crochet into this stitch right here, just like that. And that is how you will get to the other side. And then you will just do your wave stitch as normal. Let me pull my camera up so that way we all can see. There we go. And then you will just do your wave stitch as normal on this side. Or you'll double crochet until you get to your peak. So let's get to that peak real quick. Okay, one more stitch. Now remember, your peak always goes into the middle of the 3 double crochet clusters. So in this middle stitch right here, we're going to put 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now at this point, what I'm going to do, since this is what the back looks like, as you can see, so this is where we came up along the side. We went around, we did our peak, came down, did our 3 double crochet together, we did our peak, 3 double crochets together, and then we started on to the next border, or onto the next left side. Now at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 more rows. We're going to come back. I'm going to show you what they look like. I'm going to let you know if I feel that is enough, and if not, I will add more rows. I want to make sure I have 7 rows. I'll try it on the cardigan. We'll see how this works out. If I need to do more rows, I will. Okay, so I will see you shortly. So remember, just keep excuse me. So remember, just keep crocheting around. So you'll crochet to the end, chain 1, turn your work, do your wave border on this side, come all the way around. When you get to here, remember to have 2 stitches in between to do that 3 double crochet 3 together stitch. Okay, always make sure you have 1 on one side and 1 stitch on the other in between that cluster. Then you'll do 3 double crochets in the middle. In the middle of this one, you'll do 3 double crochets, go all the way around to your next section, and keep doing that for the next rows. Now you will change colors if you are doing it the same way as I am every row. So my next row after this one will be purple. Okay, so I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I know I said I would come back once I had 2 more rows done, but I'm still on the next row, so I'm on the new purple row, and we're coming back up to the neck. So I wanted to give you a little tip. So on my row, when I'm doing my border and I'm on the side, I had the 3 double crochets, and then I had a bunch of stitches right in the middle. Be really careful as you are getting closer to your neckline, because you are going to have a bunch of stitches. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 stitches. So I counted 3 stitches, and I started doing a three together stitch like this, and realized I didn't have any, so I had to back up my stitches and re-look and see where I was at. So I had to double crochet into those 8 stitches. Once you get to your neckline for your second row, then right after you do this last stitch on your side and you're going into your stitch for your neck, then you can do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, looks like this one is actually 1, so it'd be 1 double crochet, because when we decrease it takes away stitches, so it would have just been 1 stitch, then we do our decrease right here. So we're going to yarn over, go into this stitch, grab our working yarn, pull up a loop, grab our working yarn, and pull through 2. In this big stitch right here, that is the double crochet 3 together. We're going to yarn over, go into that stitch, grab our working yarn, pull up a loop, grab our working yarn, and pull through 2. Then in the last stitch, you're going to yarn over, go into that stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop, grab your working yarn, and pull through 2. 4 loops on your hook, kind of squeeze them together, yarn over, and pull through all 3. That normally helps to get all those stitches through that, or to get that yarn through all 4 of those stitches. You're not going to do any chaining, because a lot of times, sometimes you will do a chain 1 like this and then move on to the next stitch. We're not going to do that, so you're just going to yarn over, go into the next stitch for a double crochet, and then you'll just work down the line. So there'll be 2 stitches, and then we have 1 more, and that'll be number 3. Ooh, it kind of got tight. I apologize, my kitty girl is still on my cardigan, so I'm having to try and record the best I can. See, I'll put up my camera, and then there she is. She's sleeping away. She's so tired. She really likes this cardigan. She thinks it's a beautiful blanket, and in a way it is like a blanket. If you made it this far into the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and don't forget to hit that like button if you're enjoying this video. Alright, so 1 more stitch, and now when you get to those 3 double crochets in the same stitch, the middle one right there is where we're going to do 3 double crochets into the same stitch. 1, 2, oh, let's redo that stitch. Looks like it kind of pulled. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then we'll just move right on down the line. 3 double crochets into the next 3 stitches. Excuse me, 3 double crochets in each of the next 3 stitches. Move that yarn tail out of the way. 1 more, and then we will be on the double crochet 3 together stitch right here. That's that stitch right there, and then we have 1 stitch before it, so we're going to yarn over, go into that stitch, grab our working yarn, pull up a loop, grab our working yarn, and pull through 2. Yarn over, go back into that stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop, grab your working yarn, and pull through 2. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, go into the last stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop, grab your working yarn, and pull through 2. Squeeze them together, so if they're kind of spread out like this, squeeze them together with both of your fingers and hold. Yarn over and pull through all 4. It makes it easier to get through all 4 of those stitches, and then you will just double crochet into the next 3 stitches for the next peak. 2 and 3. I'll move my camera in just a moment because we're working down the line. And oh, that was my chair hitting my desk. And then we are going to double crochet 3 times into that same stitch that's right in the middle of the 3 double crochet. I'm going to call it a cluster because it's like a cluster, and we're going to make a 3 double crochet cluster on top of that middle stitch, just like that. Okay, and then you will just keep working down the line. Now that we are finished with the neck portion of our cardigan, we'll get there in just a minute. I'm trying to pull it apart so you can see. As you can see, once you get to this portion right here, you will be working back onto the next side, as you can see. So you will just double crochet until you get to, I believe it's another peak right here. So this one was a peak, and then that one is a peak, and that's okay. It happens. I thought that was going to be a double crochet 3 together. It was not. My mess up. That is all right. Happens. We'll just keep working down the line. So now you are on the side, and the way that you can tell is because this is where we connected the border slash side portion to our back portion of our cardigan. Okay, so once you see this part, you know you are done with the back portion and you're now working on the side. So now go ahead and just keep crocheting down the side. I will do one more row in blue, try on the cardigan, and take a look and see how it looks. And I will meet back up with you in just a few moments. Okay, we are back, and I am coming up on the last few stitches. I'm actually on the purple row. And once I'm done, I will show you how many rows I ended up doing. And just one more stitch. And there we go. So that is the last of the stitches. So here we go. Pull that out for just a moment, and I'll lay this nice and flat so you get to see. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I ended up doing 10 rows, and I tried on the cardigan and it fit real nicely. So the last time I was back on camera, we were on row number 2. So this is the back right here, and we were on this second row right here. So I ended up doing 1, 2, 3, 4 more rows. I know I was supposed to come back and let you know about the 7th row, but I just kept going and completely forgot. So I apologize for that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cut this yarn off right here, and I'm going to show you what the border looks like. So let's grab our scissors real quick. Here we go. Cut our yarn over and pull through. Now on yours, you might leave off on a blue row, and that's fine. For mine, it was a purple row. And okay, so I'm gonna pull. Okay, so this is our back right here. Hold the camera down. This is our back right here, so it will fold over like this. Okay, so I'm gonna try and here. I'm gonna pull the cardigan out and show you. Okay, so here we go. So as you can see, this is the top portion where your neck is, and it will fold over. And so when we fold it back, that is what it's going to look like. That is what it's going to look like. Okay, and then you're going to come down here, and then there you go. So that's one side. We'll come on over here, and this will be the second side. Okay, so I'll just put my camera down and fold this down. So right up here is where our neckline is going to be, and I wanted this really pretty fold like this, so it would fold over your neck. just like that. Okay, so when you try it on the cardigan, it will fold over your neck. Okay, so pretty much this is going to be the thumbnail that you saw in the very beginning. I probably didn't get the whole entire thing, but I got most of it. So you got to see what the thumbnail looks like. I think what I'm going to do for the thumbnail is going to be something like, here, we'll roll this. We'll roll it up like this. So it'll look something like this. Okay, and then you'll have the words up here. And it'll look really beautiful. Apologize for that, I am fighting a cold. On top of that, if you need to, go ahead and take off your sleeves, because as you can see right here, this is where the sleeve would be, and then this is where the second sleeve would be. I ended up having to take my sleeves off. They were actually becoming very difficult when I was crocheting around the border. I will put my sleeves back on probably in the next video. So we're going to end it right here. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed crocheting this border along with me. As I did mention in the beginning, we are not scrapping the scarf border that I originally was going to do from another video. We're going to put that one on hold. Now you can use that as an accessory for this cardigan, or as an accessory for yourself. So in another video I will finish doing the border around the triangles so we can finish off that scarf. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. And until next time, bye everyone.